Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our webinar entitled The Academe-Alumni-Industry Linkages, the, S- the SUC Experience. So we are very lucky to be graced by three presidents of leading state universities and colleges in the Philippines. So for this webinar is part of the webinar series in celebration of the UPLB Alumni-Industry Summit. So to formally begin, our webinar, some just few reminders for our participants. Please keep your comments respectful and constructive to the webinar speakers and organizers. You can key in your questions in the Q&A box of our Zoom platform and in the comment section of our Facebook Live, and not in the chat box of our Zoom. Kindly answer the evaluation form. The link will be provided later after the webinar, so you can secure your e-certificate for your attendance. To formally start our webinar for today, may I call on the President of the UPLB Alumni Association, Captain Mauro Baradas, to deliver the opening remarks.
Okay. Again, magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Unang-una kay Chancellor Don Camacho, sa mga organizer ng ating webinar for today, sa ating mga participant na umattend ngayon, sa ating mga panelists, kay Dr. Tirso Ronquillo, Dr. Ambrosio Cultura, kay Dr. Shirley Agrupis, at sa ating mga moderator. So again, bumabati po sa mga magandang umaga sa ating lahat. So nakakatuwa po na for the past so many weeks, maraming mga uma-attend, nagpa-participate sa ating webinar. At alam ko na bumabalik ang loob ng ating mga alumni na ang tanging atin pong objective dito ay magkaroon ng magandang ugnayan ang universidad at ang ating mga alumni na sa ngayon po ay sila ay magaling doon sa kanilang mga negosyo at inaasahan po natin na pagdating ng araw ay muli silang babalik dito sa ating universidad. So again, sana po ay maging matiwasay ang ating webinar for this day at binabati ko po ang lahat ng ating organizer. So again, maraming salamat.
Thank you very much to our President, Captain Baradas. Now, to deliver the welcome remarks, may I call on the Chancellor of the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, Dr. Jose V. Camacho Jr.
Thank you, Arlene. And magandang umaga po sa ating lahat, sa ating mga alumni at mga faculty at staff, mga estudyante ng UP Los Baños. Binabati ko rin po ng isang magandang umaga ang ating pong mga speakers. Sila po ay hindi kaiba sa ating pamantasan. Sila po ay mga kaibigan at mga taga-suporta ng ating pamantasan. Unang-una ang ating speaker, mamaya introduce naman po sila, but our friend, President of the Philippine Association of State Universities and Colleges, Dr. Tirso Ronquillo, the President of the Ustp, Dr. Ambrosio Cultura II, at isa pong awardee ho natin ng Outstanding Alumni Award, Dr. Shirley Agrupis. Today we'll be hearing the experience and what our SUC presidents have engaged in terms of the partnership with the industry. We will be hearing the things that they have experienced, the lessons learned that they wish to share in tackling or in engaging our alumni so that our students, ang ating pong mga estudyante, will be more employable and will be the skills and the trainings that they will be getting will be relevant in our industry. At ngayong araw na ito po ay nandito ang ating presidente, si President Danilo Concepcion. Nasa kabilang meeting po kami at naipamahagi ko po ang ating pong experience dito sa UPLB in terms of our hosting of this alumni industry webinar series. At malaki po ang kanyang paghanga dahil po sa aktibong partisipasyon ng ating mga alumni. At sana po kung may oras siya pagkatapos ng aming meeting ay makadaan po siya at para makapagsalita ng konti. Pero siya po'y magiging speaker din ho natin sa November 6 concluding session of this Alumni Industry Summit. Napakahalaga po ng ating mga alumni para sa pakikipag-ugnayan nila sa ating pamantasan, ang kanilang mga eksperyensya, ang kanilang mga trainings, ang mga naging lessons learned that they have seen as they manage their own businesses, their own industries. This will be relevant in our undertaking of future-proofing the university. Lalong-lalo na kung ano pong mga aral na may papamahagi nila, kung paano po ma-engage ang ating mga estudyante, maging relevant po ang ating mga curricular programs. Lalo na ngayong napapanahon na may pandemya, kung paano pa ho mapapalawig ang skills at training ng ating mga estudyante. Kaya sana po ay magkaroon po tayo ng aktibong partisipasyon ngayon pong araw at sa ating pong mga guest speakers, welcome po dito sa UPLB-Alumni-Industry webinar series. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat.
Maraming salamat po, Chancellor Camacho. We're also excited to introduce our distinguished speakers for today's webinar. So let us start our webinar proper. So I would like to introduce our lead panelist for this morning. He is the president of the Philippine Association of State Universities and Colleges, or PASUC, and also concurrently the president of Batangas State University, a professional electronics engineer, recognized as an ASEAN engineer, a reputable professor in the fields of electronics, communications, instrumentation and control, mechatronics, engineering and management, accreditor of the Philippine Technological Council Engineering Accreditation Commission, and an active member of the American Society for Engineering Education and the Australasian Association for Engineering Education. Our lead panelist today is Dr. Tirso A. Ronquillo. Unfortunately, he cannot attend our webinar today, but he sent an equally credible representative. So let us welcome the Vice President of the Batangas State University, Dr. Albertson Amante.
Okay, to the Chancellor, to Chancellor Jose B. Camacho of the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, President Shirley Agrupis of the Mariano Marcos State University, President Ambrosio Cultura of the University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines, Dr. Rex Navarro and Professor Arlene Gutierrez of UPLB also, Captain Manny Baradas, President of the UPLB-Alumni Association, alumni representatives, industry partners, faculty members, friends, good morning. Innovation in state universities and colleges must accelerate as they perform critical role in nation building. That is according to our university president and president of the Philippine Association of State Universities and Colleges, Dr. Tirso A. Ronquillo. He extends his regards to everyone. So the relationship between alumni and institutions begins very well before graduation. Institutions interact with students at multiple points across the student life cycle. This means that institutions have the perfect framework in place to develop a cohesive and engaging experience for students, beginning early in recruitment and lasting until after students transition into alumni. Using cloud-based tools, faculty and staff at colleges and universities are able to improve the overall student experiences in a multitude of ways. on recruitment and admission, institutions can deploy and scale a personalized recruitment experience by combining data, cloud-based tools, and smart technology. Colleges and universities receive massive amounts of information from prospective students, information that can clarify what campus resources, events, and programs would be the most valuable to helping a specific student reach their educational goals successfully. For the student experience, once the students are enrolled, they shift from learning about what the institution has to offer to experiencing student life firsthand on campus. Of all the stages within the student life cycle, the student experience is typically where campuses will most directly interact with students. Institutional leaders can take the same data used to establish an initial relationship to suggest class schedules, resources, support groups, and other extracurricular clubs and festivities that will facilitate students' transition into campus life. And lastly, on alumni relations, when the students graduated, the student-institution relationship does not end. Instead, it continues to evolve as needs and expectation changes. After helping students successfully receive their degree or certification, campus staff begin to look for new opportunities to continue adding value to the personal and professional life of their alumni. Proud alumni often serve as powerful ambassadors for their institution's brand and speak glowingly of their college years. Alumni are nostalgic and love opportunities to return to campus. With smart technology, institutional leaders can create engaging experiences that will bring the campus to the alumni. One way to keep graduates connected is by sharing personalized updates on campus events and development. Indeed, the key to alumni engagement is relationship building. By fostering lifelong partnership with graduates, college and university leaders will have an infinite number of opportunities to advance their programs. Let me share with you some of the models of alumni engagement that I was able to research and, and had a first-hand experience from these universities. The University of California, Berkeley, for example, branded their alumni engagement as Pay It Forward. You can see this in almost all of their programs involving their alumni. It's nice to hear that. It's nice to see that they have their own branding on their alumni engagement, and which is a very nice phrase also, pay it forward. The Griffith University, on the other hand, promotes their several programs to engage alumni and even the industry. So these include activities such as philanthropy, community activities, global outreach, student recruitment, widening participation, student employability, representation, professional development, and recognition, some of which you may have already been adopting. In a big university like Texas A&M University, their alumni help build this what they call AJ's Alumni Center. No, it's so massive, because everything is big in Texas, as they always say, and they even have their life-size ring, alumni ring here. So this is how huge the support of their alumni, being able to establish such a wide, such a huge facility that cater to the alumni needs. I am from Batangas State University. We are an engineering university. And engineering is always going to our industry, to the manufacturing industry, for example. And President Tirso would always say, it takes two to tango. There will always be what we call an industry and academe gap. The Philippine manufacturing is still transitioning from industry 2.0 to 3.0. That is true here in the Philippines. More than 40% have no maintenance system and is repaired reactively. More than 40% have no established cybersecurity procedures and programs. More than 50% have no manufacturing equipment connected to the network. More than 50% control and track manufacturing activities manually. So we need to attract more talented students in the field of engineering. In academic year 2019 to 2020, out of the total enrollment of 3.4 million in tertiary education in both public and private HEIs, only 442,064 or 13% were enrolled in engineering and technology. That's according to CHED. For SUCs, during academic year 2020 to 2021, out of the total enrollment of almost 1.5 million, only 150,000 or 10% more or less were enrolled in engineering, with a notable decline when compared with academic year 2019 to 2020's enrollment. On the average, SUCs registered only 25,000 engineering graduates every year. And then here comes the gap, no? But we enjoy the gap. We love the gap, the industry academic gap, because we believe that when there is gap, there is innovation. Hence, it was decided that the university really will push forward engineering as its flagship program. We have had national and international accreditation and quality assurance to ensure the quality of service we provide to our students as well as to our alumni. We are the only state university in the country with engineering programs accredited by the US-based Accreditation Board for Engineering and Technology, and our alumni benefit to this recognition, being recognized not only in the country, but all the member countries of ABET. We have the highest number of faculty members who are ASEAN engineers among higher education institutions in the country, with 29 ASEAN engineers. We are top performing school in engineering licensure examination and produce numerous top-notchers in different engineering and architecture licensure examination. We are also Center of Excellence in Electronics Engineering and Centers of Development in Mechanical Engineering and Electrical Engineering. Currently, the university caters to more than 55,000 students coming from 40 provinces. So we have a lot of students being catered all over the country. Of the 55,000 students, there are around 18,000 who's taking engineering and technology related courses. Over the years, the university has been providing wider access to quality higher education as it caters to more than 55,000 students coming from 40 provinces all over the country. With a carefully designed admission and retention policy of the university, coupled with positive feedback from our students, graduates, alumni, and other stakeholders on the quality of education that it provides, they deliberately sought admission to and are taking pride to obtain a degree and an education experiences at par with other universities here and abroad. It also enables the university to admit and retain students who are truly prepared and determined to do well on their study, regardless of their status in life. All these are guided by the university's overarching goal of nurturing minds, honing skills, and shaping values. Serving also our alumni in our industry, we have here the frontier-directed engineering programs. Currently, we have 46 engineering programs being offered in the country. Now it's being done virtually. And we have the highest number of engineering offerings among higher education institutions in the country. So that is how we serve also, in a way, our alumni by giving them access to professional development through these programs. The other alumni and industry engagements of the university are as follows. We have here engagement of our alumni and industry as members of what we call the Industry Advisory Council membership. This is a prime requirement towards outcomes-based education. We also receive sponsorship and pledges from our partner alumni and industries. conduct extension services with them, develop internship and job placement programs. We invite them for professional development activities, and most of the time, to give back to the university, they offer scholarship grants to our deserving students. Aside from that, we also have this faculty immersion program, which is institutional. A faculty can apply for a leave and then have a faculty immersion with a certain industry. We also encourage cooperative learning with the industry, being able to do some research projects, some capstone projects with our industry partners, and also with our alumni. And of course, the conduct of Innovation Challenge Lab. Now, Innovation Challenge Lab is something that I learned from UC Berkeley when I was fortunate to attend one of the sessions there on innovation. So a challenge lab is basically a thematic competition being posed by an industry partner or a potential alumni. They tell the challenge to the students and faculty, and the students and faculty teams will develop solutions to address that problems, to address that challenge. This year marks a very special year for Batangas State University since we are celebrating 50 years of engineering, 50 years of service to the nation and the world. And like what UPLB is doing, we have been inviting some of our alumni industry partners in this Eyes on Fire industry conference for engineering on the fourth industrial revolution. This is our version of a fireside chat. Invitees are industry partners and alumni on different topics addressing sustainable development goals. We also celebrate the alumni successes. We try our best to look for the achievements of our alumni wherever they may be. So these are just some of our alumni, very millennial alumni, who have, even in their young age, were able to find success in their respective careers. Lastly, I would like to share another opportunity for alumni and industry collaboration. Last May 2020, the Batangas State University's Knowledge, Innovation, and Science Technology Park was proclaimed as a special economic zone, part of the Philippine Economic Zone Authority, by no less than the President of the Philippines. The key spark features include startup acceleration, technical support on product development, financial support from partner banks, MSMEs, angel investors, and venture capitalists, patent services, market linkages, capacity building programs, in-house services for locators, enhanced ICT infrastructure, and secure and safe and sustainable community. We have a big innovation and incubation program in the university, and that program is actually open to our alumni. They can access even grants if they wish to have their startups be pursued. Currently, the Key Spark is being operated at the 5-story Science, Technology, Engineering, and Environment Research Hub. And we have our very first locator, Phytos Technology Philippines Incorporated. And Phytos Technologies is so active because our students are being engaged in our as well as our researchers in their internship as well as in active research. Our first product with them is AirLock 389, which is a graphene-based technology that is implemented in the first antiviral face mask. So the university is part of this project as researchers and designers of this technology. And these are just some of the opportunities that universities can pursue. You just have to reach out to our industry and alumni partners and be able to execute programs and activities and projects with them with commitment and with expertise to ensure best outcome. Again, thank you very much for the opportunity to share with you the presentation of our University President, Dr. Tirso A. Ronquillo. Magandang umaga po, and let us all be safe and healthy. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Vice President Amante, for your presentation. Indeed, what Batangas State University is doing is really a good model and benchmark for alumni engagement. Let me remind again our participants, both in Zoom and on Facebook Live. If you have questions to our panelists today, you may send in your questions through the Zoom Q&A box. So just type in your questions there, or through the comment section of the Facebook Live. Let me now introduce our second speaker for this morning. He is the president of the University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines, the chairperson of the Northern Mindanao Consortium for Industry, Energy, and Emerging Technology Research and Development, the chair of the board of directors of the Northern Mindanao Food Innovation Center, and he specializes in renewable energy, hybrid systems, energy storage, smart grid, and distributed generation. Let us all give a big hand, virtual clap, to our second panelist for this morning, Dr. Ambrosio B. Cultura II.
Thank you, Ms. Arlene, for that kind introduction. To Dr. Jose Camacho Jr., Chancellor of UPLB, to Captain Mauro Baradas, President of UPLB-Alumni Association, to Director Ellen Lorena Mamino, to my fellow resource speakers, Dr. Tirso Ronquillo, the President of the Philippine Association of State Universities and Colleges, represented by Dr. Albert Amante, Dr. Shirley Agrupis, President of Mariano Marcos State University, to all the participating officials, personnel, and alumni, good morning. Allow me first to express my sincere gratitude to UPLB for inviting the University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines for this UPLB Alumni Industry Summit webinar series. It is indeed high time to reinforce the engagement of the alumni in the development of the academic institutions through inclusive collaboration with the key players for development. My presentation will focus on academe, industry, alumni linkages in the perspective of Ustp as one of the SUCs in the Philippines, and how do we really optimize collaboration. Before I delve into that, allow me just to give you a brief background of what really drives the Ustp to collaborate with the key players for development, academe, industry, government, and the community, where our alumni were distributed of these 4 key players. As per the data of the World Bank, the university industry collaboration in R&D index is only at 3.52 and has only experienced a year-on-year growth rate of 1.44% from 2007 to 2017. This is despite the growing number of public and private academic institutions in the Philippines. This means that we are not doing enough collaborations as compared to the ASEAN countries. And what do you think is the reason to that? Why do SUC score so poorly in industry research collaboration? According to the framework for academic industry linkages of Ustp, it is because of the rewards and incentives of faculty. Incentives are associated with published or peerage principle. There is an added hassle but no contribution to economics. SUC's capacity to collaborate. Governmental policies are not that enabling and has ambiguous legal requirements, rules, and regulations. This is how SUCs operate before. However, there is now a dramatic paradigm shift in the SUCs. The publish or perish mantra, the reason why we have a lot of research just sitting in the bookshelf, not serving its purpose, is changing. With the introduction of the significance of academic industry collaboration, The ivory of towers of research, which is the old paradigm, was converted to a nexus of research and innovative collaborations. And now, the industry with the paradigm shift then eventually started to trust the academy and have now continually collaborated with us for more inclusive development in our respective regions. Now, this will be the order of my presentation. Let me start on how did we come up with the USTP framework. Given the paradigm shift, as introduced earlier, the university started to aggressively expand our linkages to the different stakeholders and establishing the trust of the industry. USTP currently have a growing partnership and collaborations with AIGC that eventually created more opportunities and enabled all key players for development to explore various initiatives supportive to the overall advancement in the region. Now, let me first present to you the USTP's framework. For a higher education institution, the work of its faculty has traditionally been trifocal functions. This traditional trinity is expected to operate in relation to the specific goals and mission of the university. The USTP's framework articulates this university's trifocal function, which is instruction, research, and extension, for socioeconomic development according to the university's mandate to provide advanced education, higher technological, professional, and advanced instruction, advanced research and extension work in human resource development in critical science and technology skills and competencies required for global competitiveness. Now, the framework is translated and matched into the industry's community's trifocal needs, which is anchored in the university's mandate to be responsive to national economic challenges and to contribute to the economic development of the country. Hence, the following were identified as dimensions by which the university can direct its efforts toward contributing to national growth, which are human resource, technology solutions, and technology enterprise. So why and how did the USTP able to operationalize its framework? That is all because we have a mandate that enables the USTP to activate and undergo collaborative initiatives supportive to the university's vision. Example, research work are conducted with the participation of industry and business, thereby ensuring commercial value. We also have the dual training system, learning by doing, technology solutions to pressing industry problems, partnership from conceptualization, prototyping to commercialization, science and technology parks, and given tax incentives for industry partners. Collaboration with the industry was all made possible, all because USTP is empowered by its charter and mandate as university. On top of that, the university also was able to develop an enabling mechanism to support the USTP framework. The USTP's quadruple helix model of collaboration. With this model, all the key players for the development, academe, industry, government, and even the community are able to engage and contribute to the development of the innovation ecosystem that we have established in this part of the region. Now, how do we, the USTP, operationalize our framework? One is by continually forging linkages and partnership to strengthen our relationship with AIGC. One perfect example to this is the simultaneous signing of the 20 MOU or MUA with the industry and government partners in one sitting on the USTP's Academe-Industry Government Forum in 2016 after the university's amalgamation. USTP is constantly expanding its network of partnership locally, nationally, and internationally. As per the major or system-level collaboration, USTP was able to forge partnership through MUA, MOU, or MOC with 121 AIGC in total for the last 6 years. This does not include the campus-level collaborations. This created myriad of possibilities and enabled the USTP to explore various innovative solutions that are responsive to the long-standing and emerging challenges of today. These are some of the major exemplar collaboration that we have forged over time. During the 2019 USTP Innovation Summit, the USTP entered a memorandum of agreement with Altair Engineering, Solar Fire Concentration Limited, which is the startup based in Finland, and Carbon Cycle Processing, a startup in CDO. The collaboration ensued the fabrication and installation of the solar concentrator for cashew and coconut for the farmers of Cagayan de Oro. We have also launched the program of GU Urban Gardening, Making Food Available, GUGMA. That has now also ensued a new initiative, the Urban Community Microfarm, in partnership with various government agencies, industries, and the community. These programs are responsive to the food security and safety of the neighboring community amid the pandemic. Currently, we have already conducted 4 webinar series with 1,000 participants from all over the Philippines. The USTP was also able to transfer technology solution designed and fabricated by the USTP, the twin screw extruder machine with filling injector, which was funded by DOST Region 10. This technology is designed to support the production of our partner industry, the West Spring Goodies, which is a member of the Oro Chamber of Commerce. We have also recently inked a technology licensing agreement with the same industry for the four food technology developed by USTP's Food Innovation Center. Then we also have a collaboration that started with the Consul General of Japan, MIWA, USAC, and have now rippled to various collaborations, from scholarship grant from one of the industries in Japan to the seeds and needs matching seminars for the regional development of Cagayan de Oro region in relation to the metropolization of Cagayan de Oro City. We also have an agreement between Golden Gate University in the US, STRIDE, and USTP that ensured the creation of curriculum, the Master in Public Sector Innovation, with Golden Gate University as the co-designer. And this master's was offered just last year. Aside from those exemplar partnerships, we also have collaboration with AIGC that resulted to the establishment of USTP's offices and centers that sustained and promoted more collaborations. The partnership we had with USAID STRIDE resulted to the establishment of the Career Center for our major campuses in USTP CDO and USTP Club area. This became the dedicated office in charge for the university's Alumni-Industry government relations. Annually, we have an average number of 30 industries that we get to engage with and 55 active partnerships as of date. USTP Career Center was recently awarded the Model Career Center as it exemplifies best practices in engaging industry in career development and championing students' successes as promoted by the STRIDE Career Center Development Program. We also have Digital Transformation Office, which is an institutionally funded project. After its establishment, the office promoted and supported a series of collaborations, which include the implementation of the Passengers A Manifest. Passengers A Manifest, which is PAMS, is a contact tracing with web application that will allow the Marina to assist its passenger shipping companies and the local government units in streamlining data collection and management, especially amid COVID-19. Next is the establishment of the Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning. Its establishment was very timely, especially with the pandemic, which enabled the USTP to continue its deliverance of education, even with the unprecedented challenges brought by COVID-19 to the education sector. With its expertise in capacity building training to the faculty development and support of teaching and learning of innovative courses and other innovative strategies in teaching, the center was invited by CHED for the retooling for the flexible learning and teaching strategies of Region 10 HEI faculty. Now, with the growing opportunities in the food industry in the region, USTP has also established the Food Innovation Center through the collaboration between DOST, DTI, USTP, and the private sector, the Pupanormin, and the office of the 2nd Congressional District of Cagayan de Oro. Just recently, we have inked a technology licensing agreement with the West Spring Goodies industry for the food technology developed by the USTP Food Innovation Center. With the establishment also of the USTP's 16 research centers and institute, the university was able to continue to explore partnership and pursue external funding for collaborative projects. by nurturing the research culture through collaboration. One of the USTP Center, the Center for Artificial Intelligence and Design Engineering, received grants for a collaborative project we have with the UST. Lastly, the USTP initiated a university-based technology business incubation program, now known as CDO Bytes, Business Incubation, Technology, Entrepreneurship, and Startup, which was funded by the USTP PSERD for 4 years. With our constant collaboration and partnership with PSERD, we were able to support startups in the region and have instigated more collaboration. So these are the banner programs of CDO Bytes. Then we have some examples of startups that made an impact on the community. The S Request mobile application, which is a barangay information system mobile app, was developed by the USTP alumni. We also have the mobile gas startup, also developed by USTP alumni. Over the years, our partnership and collaborative efforts in support to the establishment of CDO Bytes in the university has now translated to the development of the innovation ecosystem in the region. In fact, the Cagayan de Oro City ascended its 87 spots from the previous year in the latest global startup ecosystem ranking, securing 493 spots as listed by Startup Blink, a global ecosystem map and research center. This is out of 1,000 cities and 100 countries evaluated. Locally, CDO was ranked 3rd among the cities in the entire Philippines. The growing number of startups in the city highly influences the global startup ecosystem rankings. Out of the 17 local startups listed in the Startup Blink 2021 global rankings report for CDO, 8 startups are former incubators of USTP CDO Bytes. This proves that the establishment of CDO Bytes in the university was one of the effective programs to promote innovation and entrepreneurship for the country's socio-economic development. The USTP also continues to ignite its collaboration through various productive activities that stimulate more collaboration to further operationalize the USTP's framework. One of which is the ideation workshop that the university is instigating and has now bear its fruit. As mentioned earlier, we have handed over the technology solution in support for food production. We also have this pilot university for the implementation of expert intervention for scientific engagement, or the expertise program for PSERD regional consortia. All of this started with an idea and was realized through collaboration. We also have the first Philippine Industrial Summit last November 26 to 2019. This is to build an assertive industrial Philippines. The PVDEC Industrial Authority, GUI Open Space Technology Workshop, the Academe-Industry Forum with PVDEC Industrial Estate, Misamis Oriental Industries Association Incorporated, or the PVDEC Industrial Authority. The first international conference on research, innovation, and investment that the USTP has organized to further accentuate the importance of research and innovation. Participated by various international institutions, industries, academia, and government agencies, which expertise lies in research and innovation. Overall, the USTP is indeed successful in collaborating with industry, but these are relatively small successes addressing short and medium-term challenges. There are still long-term challenges that we ought to resolve, which of course can also be addressed through the implementation of the USTP framework. So how can we contribute, or how can you contribute as alumni, as part of the community? As per the academic institution in the US, the role of the alumni is very prominent and strong. As you can see here, the alumni, the university alumni collaboration is exemplar in, for example, in Harvard University, in Willis Lee University. Its alumni association now serve as their lifelong resource, and its alumni continually contribute to the excellence of their alma mater. So what can alumni do? Alumni can contribute from simple acts to alumni-generated revenue. The alumni actually becomes the brand ambassador of the university. You can start by promoting your alma mater through sharing of posts, becoming a role model, projecting expertise, carrying the brand of education of your alma mater. Or you can also instigate partnership with the industry and initiate a collaborative effort that involves the academy. This way, you do not only contribute your alma mater, but to the community as well. In our case, USTP's alumnus Thor Turicha, who is now as an executive vice president of Global SaaS MELD CX and head of innovation for the Solutions Group, APAC in Sydney, Australia, initiated collaboration with MELD CX, affiliated with the ASER and IOPEN groups for a collaborative project. We also have an alumna, John Maternal, an innovator, which for technology innovation was adopted and licensed by our partner industries. Further, alumni is also an integral part or integral component in the policy formulation and direction setting of USTP. Pursuant to Republic Act 8292 and 10919, the alumni sit as a regular member of the Board of Regents through this alumni association. This enables alumni to contribute to the overall development of the university as part of the policy-making body. Also, in the long-term alumni or in the long-term basis, alumni can be an active partners in resource generation. Since this is still practice, not practice, we can benchmark with international institutions. For example, in the case of Columbia University, they were able to raise a total amount of 116 million fundraising campaign, to which 30% of this amount was from alumni. So in our case in the Philippines, we do not have that much documentation about it. But we set our benchmark with the University of San Agustin as they have Alumni Endowment Fund, which is the most important gift of the Alumni Association to the College of Pharmacy and Medical Technology. So in this direction, we can say that the USTP can activate the untapped potential of alumni and create more opportunities, and not only USTP, but also other academic higher institutions. So why do we really need everyone to collaborate, including our alumni? Because again, there are emerging challenges that can only be addressed through collaboration. First, we have the academic disruption brought about by the pandemic. Unemployment and underemployment remain elevated despite the rebound. Second is the new normal delivery of functions in the Philippine higher education system. And third is our preparedness for the forthcoming disruptive technologies required by the Industry 4.0. Generally speaking, Industry 4.0 describes the growing trend towards automation and data exchange in the technology and processes within the manufacturing industry, including the Internet of Things, Industrial Internet of Things, cyber physical system, smart manufacturing, or smart factories, or artificial intelligence, among others. What are the disruptive technologies that we are expecting? We have this IoT, big data, 3D printing, and so on. These are the forthcoming disruption. The question is, are we prepared? How can we be prepared? Our solution is to establish and sustain the innovation ecosystem where we can be adaptive and resilient to whatever disruptions that may come. And what is the innovation ecosystem? Innovation ecosystem is the kind of environment where innovation is fostered and nurtured and technology solutions are created. Notice that university is not the only implementer in this model. We have the government agencies, co-working space, service providers, incubators, corporates, and many others, and even alumni in our community. This means that the academe alone cannot do it without the other key contributors' support. Each has a part to play to be able to create an innovation ecosystem. Now, what can the USTP do to enable the innovation ecosystem to facilitate development? We have our own innovation pyramid to support the conceptualization to commercialization. We have this proposed the Idea Center for Innovative Technologies, Enterprises, and Services. We call it iSite. Has the 10 level of support services. The iSite is the tangible effort of the USTP to develop innovation ecosystem, to continue this sustaining this innovation ecosystem in Northern Mindanao. So we have that, and we visualize that all the support services can be housed in a one-stop shop like the iSite's building. So in fact, we proposed for the construction of this building, but as of now, we operated separate or different building of this pyramids that we have. But in the future, we will be establishing a one-stop shop, we call it an iSite. Now, what is the USTP's Ustp Park? It is inspired from the Research Triangle Park of North Carolina, which have been the driving force behind economic transformation in the area. This is our vision, to create the innovation triangle through the establishment of 3 Ustp parks in northern Mindanao that would trailblaze the innovation ecosystem. This is the long-term development plan of the USTP to sustain the innovation ecosystem in the region and calls for even stronger collaboration with AIGC. We have the Villanueva Ustp Park that will be situated in the area of PEBIDEC with a 5 hectare of land. By the way, the PEBIDEC has an area of more than 3,000 hectares, and we're given a 5 hectare there to establish the Villanueva campus. This Ustp Park will champion in the industry partnership, trainings, faculty immersions, among others. The Agrupolis Ustp Park will be situated in USTP Claveria and has a land area of 66 hectares. It will champion smart agriculture. While the USTP Aguila Ustp Park is the embodiment of Ustp Park, and this will address food security, energy sufficiency, information communication, health and well-being, infrastructure and transportation, and technological innovations. For Aguila Ustp Park, the Research and Development Office, the first infrastructure was completed last August, while the other constructions are still ongoing. Further, the USTP has already completed the version 1 of the 3 volumes of the master plan for the said Ustp Park. Now, these are the 7 components of the Aguila Ustp Park. So how will the Ustp Park be established? It will be established following the components of quadruple helix model of collaboration, the key players for development. As I've said, the academic, government, industry, and communities. These are the ongoing construction of infrastructure for the Ustp Park of USTP. And now, I'd like to leave you with this message. With all this plan, I think, with all these directions in sustaining specifically the innovation ecosystem of this region, and not only in this region, but the whole Philippines. I think alone, as Hiller said, alone we can do so little. Together, we can do so much. Therefore, the AIGC, or the key players for development, must collaborate. Thank you, and good morning once again.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cultura. That is indeed the key message. Collaboration and innovation, and the alumni plays a very important role in that. Now, let me introduce to you our third speaker for today's webinar. She is the president of the Mariano Marcos State University, a recipient of the prestigious William D. Dar Research Leadership Award given by the Philippine Association of Research Managers, 2019 Most Outstanding Ilocano for varied achievements as an educational leader that helped uplift the life of Ilocanos, and also the recipient of 2020 Lingkod Bayan Award. Let us all welcome Dr. Shirley C. Agrupis.
Honorable UPLB Chancellor Dr. Dong Camacho, Vice Chancellors, fellow servants in the Philippine Higher Education Institution, UPLB alumni officers and members. I would like also to greet our fellow UPLB alumni, partners and community members, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant morning to all na imbag na tigat tayo amin kakabsat. It is a privilege to be given the honor to be part of the UPLB-Alumni-Industry Summit webinar series. Indeed, University of the Philippines Los Baños has equipped and prepared me to render excellent and transparent public service by the people, for the people. I am deeply grateful for allowing me to share to you Mariano Marcos State University's journey, our strategies and achievements toward academe-industry partnership. You know, our humble administration is governed by a well-defined framework that serve as generic compass to all units in pursuing their programs unique to their departmental mandates. My sharing will start from MMSU Strategic Framework, MMSU Academe-Industry Framework, MMSU Teaching Learning Landscape, MMSU Research for Development and Innovation Ecosystem to show what we have in terms of management support and both physical and soft support system. And I will be showing you selected MMSU academia industry linkage models. Where is academia-industry linkage, alumni linkage in our university framework? From the start, we recognize the immense contribution of academic preparedness, immense contribution of industry and business and alumni in our journey in developing future-ready human capital and research innovation in the context of nation building and knowledge-driven global economy, as we envision to be a premier Philippine university. To realize this, we have crafted our 7-point agenda coined in the 7 letters in ACHIEVE, ACHIEVE. You can see that in the slide, anchored on 3 pillars: academic excellence, financial resilience, and operational efficiency. I just would like to emphasize that the academic excellence, academic excellence covers or encompasses the three mandates of higher education institution, the instruction, research, and extension. Moving forward, like other state university and colleges, we heard Batangas State and Ustp, MMSU is challenged by globalization, 21st century skills anchored on Industry 4.0. To sustain our viability as higher education institution, we are called to embrace, to respond to the challenges of globalization that resulted to universities worldwide adhering to global educational standards in terms of achievements and shared values. Some of the most adopted efforts to properly utilize and translate this knowledge are internationalizing curricula that increases the faculty and student mobility, increased collaboration in research activities, and extension services resulting to adoption of technologies by industry partners. So you would notice that our academia-industry partnership framework is anchored on the four functions of higher education institution. And this is what I want to highlight. MMSU's mission to develop industry-ready human capital and research innovation in the context of nation building and knowledge-driven global economy. Now, in this slide, you will see that our goal is to build a distinctive MMSU identity in propelling its fourfold functions in education, research and extension, and production through limitless innovation, conduct of revolutionary researches, nurture of faculty and student talent, collaboration with industry, and operationalization of a system that promotes inclusive growth and meritocracy and creates globally competitive education institution. In the implementation of our AIL framework shown earlier, we needed to scan the university teaching learning landscape. Driven by the challenges of the 21st century skills, we evaluated our teaching learning resources, the teaching learning environment, the competence of our faculty and responsiveness of the curriculum. Where are we strong at and where are we weak at? What are the risks and opportunities? The MMSU teaching learning scenario guides us in the creation, development, and application of technologies, innovations, models, systems, processes, strategies, approaches, and practices, including the provision of services towards unified academic research extension for development in a sustainable university alumni community industry ecosystem. What internal support system and physical resources do we have to address the weaknesses? Risk while embracing opportunities to spur innovation and create impact. To support our operation, the MMSU innovation ecosystem provides a dynamic and evolving system and processes that guides all colleges and implementing units, including faculty members and researchers, towards a collegial research-based product development provision of extension support services, and the intensification of the technology business ventures and initiatives. The ecosystem, as you can see, provides enabling support system, including policies for partnership. You can see in the management support, development of needs project for college, additional funding for manpower development. We have the IMDF. The IMDF has a dedicated budget individually to all members of the MMSU family, be it teaching or non-teaching, for them to draw their own roadmap, attending conferences and attending trainings. Merit, we have a in place merit promotion system. R&D for development and innovation. Our further backup research centers, innovation hubs, technology development, and commercialization strategy systems, framework and processes, including knowledge management initiatives in achieving the end goal of the adoption, utilization, and application of technologies by the university's business clientele and partners. Under the Research for Development Innovation ecosystem, the university continuously strengthens the capacities with enabling policies like development of NIDS project and IMDF, as I mentioned earlier. Today, with this enabling support system, the university has increased in the number of faculty involved in research by 49.42%. It's amazing, but because of the different enabling system that we have crafted and initiated, we encourage more faculty to do research as we move towards creating a research culture in the university. We have also significant increase in publication by 31% and more than 50% published in Scopus ISI Index Journal. Also, with the establishment of the university's Innovation Technology Center, the number of patents and utility models registered and the number of adopted technologies by target beneficiaries also increased, which came from the faculty and full-time researchers involved in implementing GIA-funded researches, which increased by 31%, and GIA-funded by 116%. This is attributed to the increased funding received by the university from both sources. In support to the research programs and initiatives, a strong extension support services is provided to all community engagement and outreach program. And in support to our research activities, our Innovation Technology Center has also created immense increase in the number of technologies filed for registration and granted utility models. Next slide. In support for the research programs and initiatives, a strong extension support service is provided to all community engagement and outreach program of the university, particularly those coming from different colleges and implementing units, for the active participation of local people and community partners like local government officials, business and association groups and organizations. Such activities come in the form of technology demonstration and piloting, provision of relevant technical know-how, including the mobilization and organization of individuals interested in research-based extension programs and projects towards community empowerment. The need to support the university programs lead us to regularly sourcing out and mobilization, financial, technical support from other institutions and donor agencies. So one of our framework that we continuously updating depending on the number of partnership that we engage in the year is the resource generation management development framework with donor agencies. We are really exploring possibilities for every partnership that we have, especially where alumni are hosted. We always explore this resource generation, and we are implementing this model. Next slide. The internationalization program ecosystem is another framework that we are banking in our institutional development. This is one of the most dynamic and evolving system in the university that defines the interrelationship of all the functions of the university. Our partnerships with other universities and companies could be the take-off point in sharing the experiences of MMSU. There are several standing partnerships we have that supported our academic programs, including the enhancement of skills and acquisition of knowledge by our students and faculty during their on-the-job training and field practicum immersion. It could be local, it could be regional and national, or international in scope. So this here are some of the models of partnership available to share. And with this very dynamic partnership, we were able to establish 82 dynamic partnerships since 2017. And I would like to highlight that most of our centers, R&D innovation centers, like the National Bioenergy Research and Innovation Center, the Tuklas Luna Center, the Climate Change and Foster, are all offshoot of our partners with institution abroad, and also with the help of our invited DOST Balik scientists. Now, through this strategic university initiative and intervention, we ensure that we tap the best for the development of our institution, clientele, and stakeholders through collaborative, cooperative, complementary partnership between and among our partners. Next slide. Next. It benefits the company. Next. Let me now present to you some successful academia-industry alumni partnership model. Now, emanating from our academia-industry alumni partnership framework that I have shown you earlier, our AIP in instruction focuses in 3 underlying strategies, namely curriculum development, support mechanism, and faculty and student development. These 3 are supported by programs and activities from research and extension in attaining the goal of industry-ready graduates. Let me give you some examples and cases. Let us start with the support mechanism. When the COVID-19 pandemic struck the country, we were caught flat-footed on how to manage our academic programs and courses. We created a task force to look into the enhancement of the 2013 in-house developed learning management system to aid our students and faculty in the teaching learning process. MMSU developed the MMSU virtual learning environment to guide and support our faculty in teaching, and most especially our students to cope up with the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. And the telecommunication and LGU partnership helped us survive triumphantly the COVID-19 pandemic. Since then, we have utilized and applied the MVLE, and we are closely monitoring and updating it for efficiency, for operation, and system maintenance, because this has become the main, the platform of our learning teaching environment. This is housed in our newly launched Center for Flexible Learning, as in the 2nd floor. Now, the features of the in-house developed learning management system is that students can access anytime, anywhere through the student portal. Once the students gets in his student portal, he can browse all the subjects that was enrolled. He can see the grading system, the assignment that was submitted, and can create his own dashboard. So just like those learning management systems that are provided by private companies, we are adapting, continuously improving this. And this is through the support of our partners in the IT company. And we did not stop here. Now, we are not only capacitating our faculty, but with the help of the Commission on Higher Education, we were given the grant to extend the training on the use of our learning management system, covering the higher education institution in Region 1. And to date, we have trained less than 1,000 faculty in the region. Another example in the establishment of another example from our academic industry collaboration in framework. Another good practice that I want to share is that one of the target, strategic target when we do collaborative research and innovation is to come up with a academic program out of the needs that we need to address. And this is the framework on academic program development. We base on our research output and then program and curriculum discussion with the industry partner, and then we plan. And then in number 4, we do some academic industry terms for reference, skills. We identify the skills and competencies with the help of our industry partner. We get some feedback mechanism. And so we come up with a professional academic program. And this part, with using the framework, we came up with a degree program. We call it the Professional Science Masters in Renewable Energy Engineering, the first graduate program in the Philippines and Southeast Asia to focus on the development of engineers in applied engineering program using practical and industry cases of renewable energy. The program brought new heights of graduate program with international education universities in accepting foreign students and have practical exposure in instruction and research through the capstone projects applied to the industry. And also the program is supported by partners institutions. You can see that our partners there are the USAID, the Energy Development Corporation, the NGCP, the Kansas State University, and Texas A&M. So we already graduated our graduates for the last 4 years already, and they are, just to show you that the distribution, the takers of the program are mostly coming from private company involved in the renewable energy, because in Ilocos Norte, it is a budding renewable energy center in the Philippines that triggers us to come up with a professional science masters in renewable energy and engineering to provide the needed manpower to run this industry. And the Energy Development Corporation under the Lopez Group of companies are partnering with us dynamically serve as Immersion, to serve as our host in the immersion and training of our students. Also, the program, next, the university supports another focus in our academia industry collaboration is the OJT program. The university supports, and we come up with this framework. The university supports the development of new ideas and program for academic programs, which focuses on the direction for the application of lessons learned for a theoretical perspective to practical knowledge utilization during student OJT, immersion, fieldwork, and practicum. And during that, in the platform, during that immersion, we get feedback from the industry as input in the development of our curricula, so that we make sure that the level of competence and skill that we are giving to our students are crafted based on the needs of the industry. The best experience of MMSU with industry-linked partners is with the strong industries that enhances the capabilities and improve the competencies of our university students in their practicum and field exposure. One of the best partnership we have is with the Toyota Foundation Philippines. The framework that I am showing you is followed by the other colleges who have OJT and immersion in selected companies. You see that industry feedback is very important because we are getting this input for the further enhancement of our curriculum. The College of Industrial Technology is showing a very good model for this platform. The CIT students benefits from this partnership in bridging the theoretical base of the automotive maintenance and management with the practical application of skills development of students. Through this university industry partnership, scholarship were provided to CIT students, and when noted to perform, they could be hired by the Toyota company as a staff. This has been going through, next slide. This has been going through for over 15 years and have served the university as a strong provider of highly skilled automotive graduates to the automotive industry. And we are very happy that all our graduates in the College of Industrial Technology posted almost 95% employment rate. Now, there are several degree programs. Following the platform that I have earlier shown you, there are several degree programs. The university maintains good partnership along health sciences and medicine tourism, as you can see in the table. There are several degree programs. Another one, next slide. Now, the framework that I'm showing you now is the Academe-Industry Collaborative Research and Innovation framework focused on collaborative research, resource sharing, and commercialization and technology transfer. Next slide. And I am going to show you a model. Next. The academic industry collaborative research and innovation framework. One best model that I could show you is the MMSU LGU collaboration model, building resilient communities. Through our strong technical expertise in addressing climate change, we have developed GIS maps needed for collaborative researches, particularly in vulnerable areas, as well as those affected by erratic climatic conditions. In so doing, we have partnered with local government units in securing and acquiring relevant data towards policy risk adaptation and mitigation management partnership. The generated GIS maps are used and distributed to clientele in planning and development of program for rural and urban communities, as you can see in the graph. Our renewable energy presents another model. It presents a beautiful model for community experience-based academic industry. Its goal was to develop innovative technologies that are adaptable at the village level to vertically integrate our community to the renewable energy industry, bioethanol in particular. You can see in this slide that our bioethanol project has metamorphosed through the years until to what we are now. With design thinking, we extend with our approach in this model is that it is a bottoms up research, because we identify the community of practice, identify the science gaps, and together with the community, we address the science gaps, develop an adaptable technology, and then we manage it. We engage the community, we deploy the technology to the community for a village scale entrepreneurship until we move up to MMSU community industry partnership. The model here is that the small scale village scale industry distributed to the different NIPA communities produce a high grade bioethanol, and then they are compounded and moved to the industry partner for further purification. Dr. Demaphilis is a witness in this because we have been together in verifying result on field, and thank you, Dr. Demaphilis, for always there nurturing and mentoring us. Thank you very much. This today, and because of this immense effect to the community, our partners have expanded so much where our alumni are mostly working. Now we have partnered with USAID until now since 2015. They are still supporting us, and many national government agencies, the Department of Agriculture, the PhilRice, the industry partners, the Ethanol Producers Association of the Philippines is maintaining our partnership with us, and of course, state university and colleges, including University of the Philippines, Los Baños, as I mentioned earlier, and numbers of LG units who are recipient of our technology, especially in the NIPA communities. Today, our bioethanol program is now housed at the National Bioenergy Research and Innovation Center that continuously to conduct research, renewable energy resources, and remain the innovation hub of renewable energy in the North. During the pandemic, our program immensely helped us in fighting the pandemic. This is a very good example, model, how we make science work for the people, because at the height of the pandemic, when ethanol becoming scarce, we temporarily redirected from biofuel production to disinfectant and sanitizer and distributed it to COVID hospitals in Region 1, 2, 3, and CAR, including the Philippine General Hospital. And up to this day, we are still continuously producing sanitizers to be distributed to the different LGU checkpoints in the Ilocos Norte. Another model that I want to show is the DOST MMSU IP Communities Herbal Drug Development. This is a partnership between DOST and MMSU and the indigenous communities who has that indigenous plants that has potential to herbal drug development. And to date, we are now in the second year. We are now in partnership with Pascual Laboratories to develop drug formulation, capsules, and liniment. Let's go to extension. The efforts of our Extension Directorate has paved the way for stronger and sustainable grassroots development from local partners and communities. And the slide is showing you our Academe-Industry Collaborative Extension Framework. The best way to describe our partnership at the ground is through the Ilocos Norte Extension Support Service in Agriculture and Fisheries Development. And I have to acknowledge the input of Dr. Rex Navarro. Palagi siyang nangungulit na kailangan magiging active leader kayo ng INAFES in Ilocos Norte. And of course, to Dr. Santiago Obien, another great UPLB alumni. Now, this is coined as INAFES to support the key players and clientele to be owners of their own initiative as they help develop their communities to use technologies developed out of research. So we are the lead state university in this program as a model to which will later according to Dr. Rex will be duplicated the other parts in the country. Now, next. One of the initiatives of the university is the establishment of the tripartite partnership for grassroots development in the utilization of black garlic technology by one of the biggest black garlic industry in Japan. Dubbed as the Black Diamond in the Ilocos region, the partnership between the MMSU Provincial Government of Ilocos Norte and Takara Incorporated in Japan assured a dynamic relationship of bringing fresh Ilocos garlic produced are processed into black garlic and other value-added products. I have to note here that the characteristics or the chemical components of black garlic from Ilocos Norte, it has a higher antioxidant and other medicinal components compared to the black garlic produced in Japan, Taiwan, and elsewhere. MOA signing with Pigeon was done, of course, with Senator Amy Marcos and with the Takarada company for the implementation or conduct of a province-wide production of black garlic, and this is now housed in our Food Innovation Center using the donated equipment, a 100 kilogram equipment donated by Takarada company. Next slide. So, my dear friends, second to the last slides, we are living in challenging times. We have our own problems to solve, and yet we cannot remove that responsibility to solve, and yet we cannot remove that responsibility to also contribute to the growth and progress of our society. It is through cooperation and trust among these three Academe-Alumni-Industry that we can further increase our impact and provide optimal benefits in building our nation and becoming competitive internationally. So let us continue to strengthen this partnership. Kudos to the UPLB Alumni Association for this initiative, bringing alumni, bringing their good practices and models dedicated for nation building. Be involved, be engaged, be empowered, and together we will build a better future for the next generation of learners. In closing, as Level 4 University, we remain steadfast in our vision to be a premier Philippine university by 2028. We will embrace the challenge of today and tomorrow by not settling with what we have now, but continue to level up in pursuit of quality and a life of service. It may be ambitious, yes it is, but with the UPLB spirit, with the partners, alumni partners that we have already engaged, I am confident that it is not impossible. Grounded on honor and excellence, we will surely continue to hold high the green and gold. Good day, everyone. Thank you. Agyaman kami unaya.
Thank you very much, Dr. Agrupis, for that very inspiring presentation of the successful projects between MMSU and your alumni. I'm now opening the floor for our open forum. So may I invite our panelists for today's webinar to address the questions from our participants. So just a reminder for our participants, if you have questions, you may type in your questions in the Zoom Q&A box or in the comment section of our Facebook Live. We are currently live streaming in the UPLB Office of the Alumni Relations Facebook page. Okay, so if you wish to ask your questions live, you may also use the raise hand function of Zoom and we will recognize you. So let me read our first question for this morning. So the question is from Herdy Yumul. This is for Dr. Shirley Agrupis. Ma'am, you are the first MMSU graduate to head MMSU. Do you consider this an advantage in strengthening alumni engagement in the university? Okay, so I think Dr. Agrupis has a problem with her connection. Okay.
Arlene, I was not able to hear the question. Can you repeat it for me?
Sure, ma'am.
Yes,
So this question is from Herdy Yumul. Ma'am, you are the first MMSU graduate to head MMSU. Do you consider this an advantage in strengthening alumni engagement in the university?
What's the question?
The question is how being an alumnus or alumna of MMSU, do you think this is an advantage in strengthening alumni engagement in the university?
Yes. Yeah, thank you, Herdy, for asking that question. You could have texted me and I will answer you right. But yes, that's a very good question because I keep the pride of being the first MMSU alumni graduate to occupy the highest post in the university. It is, and as alumni, if homegrown in the university, I know kung anong kulang. I know what are the weaknesses. I know what are the strengths. I know where we are, where are the risks and opportunities. So parang may bahay na alam mo kung ano yung kulang. So that, I think that's the simplest way to answer the question. That's why I make it as a part of my governance, that everything that we do should be covered with framework so that we will not lose track along the way.
Thank you very much, Dr. Agrupis. Yeah, so very inspiring. So it really helps that you are also an alumnus of the university that you're heading. So this question po is from Jane Reyes. So this, I think, is for all of our panelists. How many of technologies with patents and UMs have been commercialized in your respective universities? And what sector, private or public, do the takers belong? Are these also part of your alumni network, the takers of your technologies that have been commercialized? So maybe we can start with VP Amante from Batangas State
Hi,
University.
thank you very much for the question. I think I presented a while ago as an output of our engagement with industry partners and some alumni also under the Knowledge, Innovation, and Science Technology part. So that's a patent technology, and the university is part of it. So we are more on the sector of engineering. We also have technologies on disaster risk management. We are developers of a amphibious vehicle, the tactical operative amphibious drive, which is ready for commercialization through licensing. We already have a partner, and we are developers also of technologies for early warning system. We call it SIGAW, or solar isotropic generator of acoustic waves. So those are thematic areas, or output of our intellectual property that have been commercialized through licensing agreements and startup, and we are preparing one which is a model for spin-offs.
Thank you, VP Amante. President Cultura from USTP.
Yes, for in the case of USTP, we have already have these 5 food products, utility model ready products, and we had just this licensing agreement with one of the SMEs here in Cagayan de Oro. 3 months ago, we had that, and they started to commercialize this product. 4 of these food products, and one is also we had this signing agreement, also licensing agreement with one of the women's association in Manolo Portage. And aside from those utility model about to commercialize, there are also technology being utilized. Like for example, as I mentioned, the twin screw extruder machine. This is a food pressing equipment used by one of the SMEs already. And we have also another equipment, food pressing equipment used by our Food Innovation Center, product of our research of faculty and student. And aside from that also, we have technology developed by our in-house. As I mentioned, we have a Center for Digital Technology office, and they already develop solutions or products, like for example, the Health Information Management System. The university used already that one. I also mentioned in my presentation the passengers e-manifest system used by industries right now. And this is the building permit management system used by the LGU now in Cagayan de Oro. So those are the technologies that is being about to commercialize for those food products, and also equipments that is being utilized by the end user or the industrial community.
Thank you very much, President Cultura. And from President Agrupis.
Yeah, thank you very much, Arlene. Yeah, as I mentioned a while ago, our research for development innovation programs are focused on products, services, system, and modalities, process, and strategy. But as a state university, home in a practically agricultural country, our focus now are the agricultural products and processes. So you are asking for the patented models. Yes, we have the utility model for the distillation and fermentation facilities for the production of bioethanol that can be operated at the community level is now engaged with a fabricator as we expand the deployment of this facility to NIPA communities. Another one is it's not patented because it's already being used, is the IT, the learning management system of the university. Well, I can consider it a product that helps the university save funding because we are not buying a learning management system from LMS provided already. Another one are the biopesticide, biofertilizer, they are already patented and are being adopted. And the recent approved product is the cassava cake, the cake, no? Tamangeg flour and tamangeg cake. These are indigenous root crops in Ilocos Norte, and we already signed the engagement of a private company, small scale company, to produce tamangeg flour and cakes, for example. Now, another product and services that are already now deployed to our target clientele or stakeholder is the GIS mods, the Geoinformatics System mods, which are being used by LGU in their decision making. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Agrupis. We also have a question from our UPLB former Chancellor, Dr. Ruben Villarreal. But before that, I just want to read his message. Congratulations to all of our panelists. Your presentations are excellent, worth sharing to other SUC presidents. God bless you and keep safe. And this is his question. Do you actively solicit collaboration with the industry or the industry approach you for collaboration? Maybe we can start with Dr. Cultura this time.
Yes, stakeholders.
Can you repeat, Arlene, the question?
Sure po, sir. Do you actively solicit collaboration with the industry or the industry approach you for collaboration? So what's the usual mode, sir? Are you the one being approached or you approach the industry for collaboration?
Actually, both. Sometimes the industry will approach us. They will present their problems. And with that, the university will respond. We'll create a committee to have a brainstorming on how or if there is a capacity for the university to solve that certain problem. And aside from that, we also have this ideation workshop conducted regularly with academe and industry, talking to each other and then discussing what problems are existing in the industry, and then what contribution or what solution can the academe introduce to that problem. Now, so in our region here, industry and academe are talking to each other. So it's both academe approach industry and then industry approach to academe also.
Thank you, sir. Thank you po. Dr. Agrupis. Yes, ma'am, you're on mute po, ma'am.
Thank you. Yeah, just like my fellow panelists here, it is a two-way process. We are practicing and we are actively exploring partnership. In fact, we saw it for the span of 4 years, we established a partnership. It's a two-way process. This is the importance now of publication of your work, because once the industry sees that you are good at this, like what we have, the mango processing, garlic processing, and mango, the private, the small business and entrepreneurs come to us and ask us how to proceed with their small business. From the industry, we also experience industry approaching us, just like our IT solutions, because they see and it is well publicized that we are good and we are proud of that on our own in-house developed learning management system. There are IT solutions coming in. In fact, we are going to sign a memorandum of agreement with Koi Solutions, who offered a certification in Microsoft as added competence and skill to our graduates and our teachers in the basic education.
Thank you, President Agrupis. And last but not the least, VP Amante.
The same is true for Batangas State University. But what I've noticed since the establishment of our Knowledge, Innovation, and Science Technology Park, partners have been coming in, maybe because of the value proposition that we are offering, because we are PESA registered KST Park. In fact, we are engaging also some of your alumni from UPLB, who happens to be Batangueño, and they're working specific projects with us on the revitalization of Kapeng Barako in Batangas.
Thank you, VP Amante. Dr. Villarreal is raising his hand, so maybe he has a follow-up question. So let me just allow. Okay. Sir, Dr. Villarreal, you are allowed to talk. You can now unmute your microphone.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Wow, thank you very much for answering my question. Actually, I asked the question because in my experience, that mode is very important. When the industry approaches you, the industry is willing to share resources and give you grant. But if you are the one to approach, in general, the industry will also support, but not as much as when the industry approach you. That's why I thought I can share that with the group if they are experiencing similar thing today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Villarreal. We also have another live question from Dr. Resty Collado. Dr. Collado. Okay, so maybe before we ask Dr. Collado, let me just ask another question from our Q&A box. This is for Dr. Ronquillo, represented by VP Amante. Congratulations, sir, for making headway in engineering and education. What is the place of social sciences, philosophy, and humanities in a technology-oriented SUC, and how do you engage the alumni in this regard?
Thank you very much for that question. I already gave an answer to that, but to add, we believe that it really takes a village to raise a child, and it should be always multidisciplinary in our approach. So we need to synergize. So indeed, the role of sustainable development goal should be stressed more than enough. And also, social sciences are fundamentals to collaborating programs in engineering and technology for them to reach more social returns. Social innovation, for instance, should link engineering and technology in order to have better understanding of social behavior of people toward the adoption of technology for the humanity.
Thank you very much, VP Amante. Okay, so I think our live question is now ready. Okay, so President Manny Baradas, the president of our UPLB Alumni Association, would like to ask a live question. Captain Baradas.
Yeah, my question is para kay VP Amante. No? I remember one time when the president of BSU invited us to have a meeting sa BSU. No? So meron dumating na, well, hindi ko kilala. No? So tinatanong ko kay President kung sino yun. Sabi niya, well, she is our patron. She is our angel, our savior. So nung malaman ko siya pala yung congresswoman ng Batangas City, no? So sabi ko bakit patron? Sabi ni President kasi katulong namin siya sa pangalap ng pondo, lalo na from Congress, no? So during that time, I've heard na 1B ang nakuha ng Batangas State University. Tapos may another half B na darating, no? So sabi ko, wow, ang galing. So sabi ko, parang wala kami dyan sa UP Los Baños, no? So pwede po bang ma-explore yung idea na yun kung paano nakakatulong ang congresswoman sa pagkalap ng pondo? Ito para din ho sa Mariano Marcos State University, because the mere fact na yung pangalan ng Mariano Marcos, I'm sure the governor is very nag-assist sa ating state university.
So thank you very much, Sir Manny. And we are always grateful to our partners also, the local government units, our congressmen. All of our congressmen are very supportive to the initiatives of the university. Not only them, we also have a senator, Batanggenyo Senator, Senator Ralph G. Recto, katulad po ni Pres Shirley. And we, as much as possible, we try to communicate with them and talk to them. Because most of the time they would really be asking us of, hey, what's your problem with your university? How can we help? What proposal can you give to us? So in that conversation, these projects, like what you made mention po, materialized. Ano po? So it's not automatic that they will give you grants because they are from that, but there has to have some sort of a proposal also from our end. So being also trained to work on several research proposals and engagement, we are happy that eventually those proposals come to fruition. Ano po? Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. So kami dito sa UP Los Baños, mukhang walang assistance ang ating mga politician, no? Kasi akala na kung may UP, talagang suportado ng gobyerno, no? But sad to say, mukhang galit yata si Presidente sa UP kaya binawasan ng budget. Oh yeah, thank you very much, Bibi.
Thank you very much, Captain Manny. At least Dr. Villarreal is also wants to say something. Yes, sir. Dr. Villarreal.
Manny, and to all, during my time as Chancellor, I had the opportunity to interact with congressmen. For example, our College of Engineering was supported by a congressman. President Ramos every now and then would come and we would be able to get some funds. Senator Rocco was instrumental in doing something so that we would be able to come up with another building. And Senator Coseteng was responsible in seeing to it that the road from Jamboree to Grove was inaspaltado yon. In other words, hindi naman pangkalatan. Nag-aapos din tayo sa kanila and they are very cordial. In fact, during the so-called debate of the budget, we would be invited and we would defend our budget, and congressmen and senators would be very generous to ourselves. One technique that I remember was that every time there would be budget deliberation between the Congress and the Senate, I would send several packages of buko pie, rambutan, and other fruits. At the end of the day, we would have a number of budgetary insertions. In other words, para-paraan lang yan. Hindi naman tayo naglalagay, pero may mga budgetary insertions kaming nakukuha during our time because we are very friendly and cordial to the officers of the administration. I just like to share to the group. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Villarreal. Yan. So, hindi po tayo naglalagay. Apo. Yan.
Hindi.
Apo, recorded, sir.
Can I say something?
Yeah, sure po, President Agrupis.
Yeah. It's really very, very, yung tanong kasi is really very intriguing. Sometimes iniisip nila to get some more budget because you have congressman, sa inyo na lahat ang senator, and so on. But I still believe on the name of the university that is the number one na naggagaya sa mga supporters natin. In my case, well, of course, my congressman, from congressman to senator, Senator Arlene, I have all the support. We maintain a good relationship. But outside their group, I also get some support from Senator Angara, Senator Gatchalian, Senator Legarda, and House Speaker Velasco. Now it is because of a anchored on what you have so far accomplished. Nakikita naman nila talaga kung ano pa yung madadagdag. Just like in my bioethanol industry, I was so fortunate that 1 week before I became president, I was invited in the Congress Committee for Renewable Energy. Dr. Demakilis was there. I was asked instantly to present my project. And well, the keyword there is to vertically integrate the community to the bioethanol industry. And right there, they asked me, how much do you need? And right there, I said, I need 200 million. And they gave me the 200 million. And that started everything. But the common denominator really is that we really need to maintain communication, let our lawmakers know what we need and what are our developmental plans. So that they can really serve as initiators and facilitators in getting our budget. But comment to UP, siguro hindi nyo talaga kailangan, sir, ang insertion kasi you get almost half of the total budget of higher education institution. Yung kalahati pinaghati-hatian ng 112 SUCs. So siguro yun yung nakikita po nila. But we really respect UP because you are our premier university in the Philippines, and you always mentor our small state university and colleges. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Agrupis. Dr. Villarreal, would you like to add?
Okay. Well, earlier, I asked a question. Sino ba, ina-approach ba nyo ang industry o kayo uma-approach sa kanila? Or industry approaches you. So, hindi yata sinagot kung kapag kayo ang um-approach, mas kaunti ang binibigay. Pero pagka sila ang um-approach, they are ready to support you with funding. Palagi ko hindi nasagot yun eh. Ano ngayon paano nangyayari ngayon? Clarification only.
Thank you, Dr. Villarreal. Okay po.
Si Shirley muna.
Okay po. Dr. Agrupis.
Natatay pa na ako ni Sir Iya po, tama po yung observation nyo. Pero again, charm works. Pag ikaw yung lalapit, based on experience, it does not matter whether sila yung lalapit or ikaw yung lalapit because sometimes our industry partner does not know what we need. Does not know really what we need. Pero padala po natin sila, and alam ko mga industry, if they give fundings, it's all merit-based. Just like in the promotion of personnel, it's all merit-based. This is what I do, so I need more to do more. Parang ganun po yung approach. And charm works.
Sige po. VP Amante.
Your comment actually might be correct, but there also comes a time na we collaborate and we look for funding agency, like other funding agency. So that usually happens. That also happens. But your comment actually is true. Nangyayari po yan. Ano po na we know if there is really a need for if there is a need of the industry, then we can actually what we do is we give them also a proposal. Ano po, because of course we will be using our resources, our faculty, and most of them are quite generous also in this industry academic collaboration.
And Dr. Cultura.
Yeah, I agree with that. No, that if the industry will approach and asking for an academic institution to solve their problem, then they are ready to provide funds. But if the academe will go to the industry, then the academe will shoulder their expenses. But there is another option, as mentioned by Dr. Amante. In our university, we have this regular addition workshop, yearly addition workshop. We invited industries, academe, and the government agencies, specifically the funding agencies, the DOST, for example, in Region 10. And then if industry and academe talking a certain project, then here comes the funding agency. So DOST, for example, and DA and other government agencies. In fact, we have an ongoing projects right now funded by DOST, around 4 projects partnered with industry. So I think there is a need for these 3 to collaborate. If industry cannot fund, then look for another funds. The government agencies can give funds, and also the academy will also do or give their counterpart. So it's a collaboration. It's a collaboration effort. If there is a certain project. Now, I just would like to also comment on the funding in Congress. For Ustp, that's our challenge right now, because for 3 years already, they do not give us enough funds, especially in the capital outlay. So I think Congressman has an important role there to lobby as far as the budget. So our Congressman here is, yes, he helped us, but as for 3 years, we have a hard time as far as getting funds from the government in our capital outlay. This is where we can also strengthen our relationship with those political leaders. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Cultura. And yes, Dr. Agrupis, would you like to add?
I take this opportunity to give my comment. Academy-industry partnership has been there, challenging all higher education or academic leaders, But nafe-feel namin, we in the ground feel that it seems that academy-industry partnership is only for the able and rich universities. Kung hindi ka talaga, it is not providing an environment for a budding state universities, from college to budding, an opportunity to partner with industry, because the industry, of course, they are in business, they are peaking. But basing on the experience in the United States, in Japan, they have a very strong government policies and regulation that entice and support the partnership of academia and industry. So I do not know how the UPLB, being a pool of honorable academicians and scientists, how we can influence the lawmaking bodies to really come up with a implementable government rules and regulations in order to spur really academia industry partnerships, because this is where transformation takes place. Nahuhuli para yung mayaman ka siya, yung yayaman, mahirap, remain na mahirap. So sana there is, even in the lobbying, kung hindi ako socialite, hindi ako communicator na mag-approach sa mga lawmakers, wala akong makukuha. So I think there should be, this is where the SUC divide in terms of funding and academia industry partnership. Thank you very much, Arlene.
Thank you very much, Dr. Agrupis. Our SEAT Alumni Association President Tabanao, Sir Tari Tabanao, also would like to ask a live question. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'd like to direct my question to Dr. Cultura. Magkasinabot siguro ta because I'm a Cebuano, but came to Los Baños in 1966-67 academic year. You mentioned earlier, Dr. Cultura, that you are also into policy formulations. This is applicable only to SUCs or also to our national government?
Pardon, sir? Is that what policy you're talking?
You mentioned earlier that you are into policy formulations. Now, I'd like to know whether this policy formulations is only applied to SUCs, state universities and colleges, or also it is applicable to the national government recommended. I'd like to know that.
Yeah,
Because-
I
okay. Sige.
Yeah, I think not only SUCs but also government, no?
Okay.
Because there is a need for the government to support.
Okay.
For example, in the policy on the establishing of science and technology park, if we will
Okay.
let the academe, let's say SUCs do that, then I think it's very difficult. We need
Okay,
funding from the industry. from the-
Okay, I understand. When I graduated in 1967, I was invited by no less than the late Dr. Dante Di Padua, who was the dean of the UP Los Baños College of Engineering then, to join the faculty at the academe. Now, what I observed is that most of the laboratory courses at that time were handled by young faculty members who have very much less experience than those faculty members who are well experienced, but they are engaged in consultancy. Now, if our objective is to train our students to become experienced in laboratory, because laboratory is not all theory but also practical application. I hope that in your policy formulation, this should be recommended to SUCs that well-trained or well-experienced faculty members should be the one to handle the laboratory classes. Now, another question that I would like to throw, when I came to Los Baños, or the Laguna province has two big irrigation systems run by NIA. This is the Mabakan River Irrigation System and the Santa Cruz River Irrigation System. The Mabakan River Irrigation System supplies the irrigation requirement of the municipality of Los Baños and Bae. Right now, before Los Baños has more than 1,000 hectares of rice field, but now it's almost zero because most of these prime agricultural lands were converted into housing, commercial.
Subdivision.
Yeah, and knowing that we are an agricultural country, I do not know whether the government has really focused their policy towards the prime agricultural land should not be converted into this, because right now you can just imagine all our in Laguna, for example, in Los Baños, all irrigation canals are already converted into barangay roads. So I hope that this problem could be solved because, like for example, in your case, you are doing something towards agricultural products, innovation on how we can commercialize these agricultural crops. That's all, sir. You have any recommendation to that effect?
Thank you. You have mentioned about the laboratory. In our university, we tried, because we experienced that problem also, that our faculty, especially those new faculty, is not capable to teach in the laboratory. So that's why what we did is to partner it with an experienced or an exposed faculty to the industry, or even hire a technician, laboratory technician. So we just last year we put up we separated this laboratory to be taken care by those faculty or those laboratory technicians who have experience in the industry. So we set up a laboratory management office who will manage this laboratory so that the students will be exposed to the laboratory? Because I believe, yes, you are right, actual is very important. Students must be exposed to actual exposure, no, when it comes to the field of specialization. So that's what we did in the university. We partner it with laboratory technician so that that faculty can also experience with those personnel who are exposed with the industry.
Correct. Thank you. How about our agricultural lands converted into
Wala akong magagawa doon.
Yeah, I think we have policy making body, no, and I think we have existing laws already protecting that agricultural land. In fact, in our site right now in Alubihid, we have 292 hectares, and we cannot utilize that as an East Anti Park right now because that's a timberland, that's an agricultural. So we need to pass or to pass a law to Congress to convert that into school purposes or a science and technology park. No? So I think the law is there already. When it comes to the utilization, you cannot just directly use the agricultural land, specifically if it's the timberland. So you need a law also to support the utilization of that certain agricultural land.
Arlene?
Yeah.
Arlene?
Okay, thank you.
Arlene?
Okay. Yes po, Dr. Agrupis.
Yeah, I would like also to pitch in some comments to the question of Sir regarding the qualification of faculty who will teach in the laboratory, no practical application, and the utilization of land of the university. First is the qualification. Yes, sir, tama po kayo. Kaso lang, it must high time now for the Civil Service Commission to really revisit the guidelines on employment, because much as we would like to implement a competency score or criteria to applying faculty, hindi nag-i-stick sila sa diploma, MS or PhD to get a certain salary grade equivalent without really giving importance on the level of competence and skills of the faculty who will be hired to teach a certain subject or certain lecture or laboratory. Kasi kung may magkasabay yan, a BS and an MS, yung BS na expose sa industry, yung MS na expose lang sa loob ng kwarto, pag i-hire mo yung MS graduate, may idedemanda ka, masuspend ka pa ng 3 buwan. So that is a challenge, really. When everything else is transforming, when everything else, all the guidelines, policies, and protocols, all the landscape are adjusting to the call of globalization, then I think concerned national government agencies should also revisit the criteria of employment. In fact, sir, in Singapore, there are several companies, industries now that do not really give points to the diploma. The applicants for a job, they look on the competency and skills. So sana isang transformation din ng government policies and regulation. For the land utilization, sir, I would like to say that we already have the land use development and infrastructure plan. It is already a law that was created in August 2019, and it was due August 22, 2021. Where all state universities and colleges have to submit their land use development plan and will be a basis of budget. Ang tanong po, how true and how faithful the government implement that LUDIP? Kasi nagkandahirap pang maghapol, only to find out na hindi naman ginagamit. So, yun po yung mga question, disappointment of academic leaders like us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President Agrupis.
Arlene, if I may.
Yes, sir, VP Amante.
I think that is where PASO comes in, the Philippine Association of State Universities and Colleges, as a representative of the state universities and colleges sector. They are always stopped whenever there are laws, whenever there are committee works that is being held. Of course, all academic affairs for higher education institutions is being handled by CHED, and PASO is an active member of the many committees that they have. And of course, I agree with with Mama Shirley Agrupis, when it comes to land use, most SUCs are already ready with their land use development program. Those who are not ready, unfortunately, were even grabbed of their property. But it is true that given that there is plan, would there be an assurance of funding to support this land use development program also of the state universities and college? But I believe with PASOK representation in the Congress, the Senate, in several committee works of the CHED, there are programs that are attuned to serve also the members of the organization in terms of capacity building and in terms of pushing forward innovation among state universities and colleges.
Thank you very much, VP Amante, and also Engineer Pantaleon Tabanaw for your question. And so due to the interest of time, so I will just ask our last question for today. So a participant raised his hand. So let me call Mr. Jimmy Nuevas from Oriental Mindoro.
Yeah, good morning, no. Natutuwa ako, nakikinig ako ever since nagkaroon ng webinar series, no. I have been following you up. Ito yung follow-up ko lang dun sa sinabi ni Alumni President Manny Baradas and ni Dr. Ruben, no. Kasi it's election time again. Probably it's high time for us to ask the candidates right now, the congressmen and the governor, to render what they have done already for the state universities. Wag lang yung puro infrastructure, no? It's more on strengthening the capacities of the state universities. Just like in Oriental Mindoro, no? It has just been recently converted into a state university, no? And then, ano ba ang mga ginawa? Baka puro buildings lang. Wag naman yung puro buildings. In fact, I'm most aware na they're preparing a land use plan, but ang problema, nagkaroon ng ancestral domain issue dyan sa Oriental Mindoro, which up to now has not been decided yet. No? Siguro sa akin, personally, I would recommend, I don't know, in the selection of the president, huwag na natin isama ang mga congressmen in the selection. No, let's leave it to the private sector. Problema yan eh. No, pag nagkaroon ng kasama yon, ang utang na loob nandun sa congressmen. Well, not all of you, pero yun ang nangyayari. So, marami pong salamat for giving me the chance.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nuevas. Any feedback po from our panelists?
I think the question is directed to the president. So since I'm a vice president.
Yeah, maybe we can ask Dr. Agrupis and Dr. Cultura with regards to government support na hindi lang daw po puro infrastructure. So beyond infrastructure po yung ating, especially now that it's already election time.
Yes, sir. In fact, the LUDIP law include all other developments, land use development and infrastructure. But again, may nakikita ko kasing gap because the law does not specify how much is the budget to be allotted in a year. For example, kung ambisyoso kang presidente tulad ko, 2021 naglagay ako ng 10 infrastructure and 3 development project. Lumabas ang net, isa lang pala. So I think there should be a revision of the LUDIP law to specify that if you are a level 1, 2, 3, and 4, you are entitled only to this much para hindi naman ma-disappoint. So yung LUDIP namin, hindi talaga masusunod. Kasi nga walang IRR on the preparation and scheduling of developmental plans and infrastructure. Tanong ko lang, Arlene, we are discussing these things. Where are we heading to? Are all these summarized and come up with suggestion and bring to the concern? Para naman may pupuntahan.
Yes po, ma'am. Yes po. We're going to summarize our discussion here. Yes po. And maybe Dr. Cultura for
Yeah.
last response for the question.
Yeah, I think it's not only infra. In fact, as I presented in the presentation, we have research outputs, no? Research projects funded by the government. So it's not infra, but it's the support, no, of the academic institution. We have a trifocal function: instruction, support from the government, research, and extension. Infra is only a part of it, But if you look at an ecosystem, innovation ecosystem, the support must be holistic, not just in infra projects. Now, sad to say that our university we got zero capital outlay next year. So that's why we Calabi right now. But as I've said, it's not about infra. It's about how we can work. No, the government, the industry, and even the community can work on a certain purpose, which is to equip us in higher education. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I think that's it for our open forum. Again, thank you very much to our panelists for today. Dr. Agrupis of MMSU, Dr. Cultura of USTP, and VP Amante of the Batangas State University. So to provide a synthesis for our session for today, let me now call on the chair of the webinar series committee, Dr. Rex Navarro.
Magandang umaga po sa lahat. Yung ating magandang panelist, Dr. Agrupis, and our close friend also, Dr. Cultura, and Vice President Amante, and all participants. So what I'll do is, we had a very lively discussion and excellent presentations. In fact, ay tumutulong laway ko nung tinitingnan ko yung mga presentations nila because siguro marami pa tayong habulin dito sa UPLB. So what I'll go is to go beyond what was presented today and give you a cross-cutting synthesis of all the webinar series that started last September 28. So I'd like to give you the broader picture why we are doing this, and of course the broader picture of what we ought to do after all these very good discussions on alumni, Academe-Alumni-Industry linkages. And these are, to me, the most crucial and burning issues of development, where we have to address alumni, academe-industry linkages. Of course, everybody knows that today we are in a crisis, we are in a pandemic, and so economic recovery will be a top priority, and that goes with poverty reduction. I was shocked to know that, I think the present figure of the Philippine Statistics Authority is 16% of the population are in poverty right now this year, and more than 4 million families are hungry, and that goes to number 2. So why are we doing all these linkages? To me, we are doing this because we are going to address these burning development challenges. So again, economic recovery and poverty reduction, food and nutrition security. By the way, I included nutrition here because I'm sure my co-chair, Dr. Shirley C, will fully agree that we also have a shocking malnourishment rate among children. I think the figure is about 29% starting rate. No? We are number 5 in ASEAN and number 10 globally in all countries. No? So there's really a nutrition crisis. And so it's not only the lack of food, but also the lack of nutrition. And yes, of course, modernization and industrialization, we have been talking about this since 1998 when the Agricultural and Fisheries Modernization Act was enacted. But sad to say, we are in a snail space in really modernizing agriculture and even, making industries out of agriculture. And so this is really a big challenge to state universities and colleges. We'll explain that further later. And everybody knows now that climate change is a burning issue. In our experience in advocating for climate change mitigation and adaptation, I was part of the CGIAR program on this aspect. It's really abstract. Ang hirap ipaliwanag yung climate change, lalo-lalo unang-una sa mga journalists and our partners in mitigation and adaptation. But when you speak about floods, when you speak about strong typhoons, violent typhoons, droughts, doon nila nakukuha yung handle. ng climate change mitigation. And in fact, recently, Ilocos, where President Agrupis is based, there is still reeling from the floods. And everywhere, even in Africa, the hurricanes, in North America, typhoon, there are also typhoons now there, and we have not heard about this before. So to me, this is really a very burning issue on development in our country. And yes, of course, global competitiveness, narinig natin yung sinasabi nila kanina, internalization of the curriculum. And I think that's a very good move towards really making our human resources competitive in the global market. And take note, this pandemic has in fact slowed down learning, especially in the primary education sector, because of either the lack of facilities to connect, and of course the slow infrastructure, Wi-Fi infrastructure that we have. So this is the big picture where we really have to address alumni, academic, industry linkages. And so this is the, as I said, that's the bigger context. And speaking about these three basic elements, we have had a very good discussion today, including the first three webinars. So when you speak about the academic, nakita natin, pinakita nila, of course, human resources as the number one forte of the academic, core competencies. And of course, we have seen, doon ako tumulong ng laway nung nakikita ko yung kay President Cultura at saka Vice President Amante, yung kanilang mga technology, parks, no? Of course, including MMSU. And innovations. We are not really content with existing technologies, we have to innovate them. And I think the university is the lead actor here. And that's why you go to business incubation. We don't only generate, but we also help startups. And again, the best agent here is the university because they are the primary technology generators. And of course, we provide expertise in terms of consultancies and other technical assistance to the industry. Now, if you go to the other side, the industry, of course, the technologies developed by the academy are also being fine-tuned and even, scaled by the industries because they are the number one users of the technologies that the academy will develop. When we speak about technologies, it's not only hard technologies, but also processes and soft technologies, excuse me. And yes, the industry is the best product promoter. One frustration that I have, I used to be a regent of the Cagayan State University, and I used to teach in UPLB, is many of our products are in the laboratories, they are in our computers, nandun sa mga eskoparate, no, sa ating mga laboratories. But you seldom see this in the market. And that is why we always challenge the universities that those products that we are, showing, especially in the food innovation centers, we would like to see that day when this will be competing with products in the supermarkets and even in the sari-sari stores. And of course, the industry is our biggest employment generator because they absorb the graduates of our academy, and because of the on-the-job trainings and all those, they are also our trainers for skills. And so this, joint convergence and linkages between academic and industry, the major facilitator there is the alumni, and I think we have seen in the presentations presenting them as ambassadors. More specifically, the alumni are the bridges, the brokers, and the catalysts of academic and industry partnerships and linkages. And yes, we also have seen they can provide resources, directly by donations, and they can also help us being ambassadors. They can also help us generate funds from other sources. And of course, the alumni is a rich pool of young faculty and advisors. So if you take all these core competencies and functions together, this is the synergism. This should be the major formula that should really help us address these burning development challenges. Okay, let me just have a rundown. Just for recollection, many of these participants that we have now have been, I think, with us ever since September 28 when we started this, and it was the Chancellor himself who really explained the concept of Academe-Alumni-Industry linkages. That is from the perspective of the UP Los Baños, and he was joined by three eminent panelists: our national scientist, Dr. Emil Javier, our president of the UPLB-Alumni Association, Captain Maor Baradas. By the way, you may be wondering why we call Captain Manny Captain. He's not a military man, he's a pilot. And so, in fact, that he was the inspiration of my son also to become a pilot. And yes, of course, the Honorable Francis Laurel, who is a member of the Board of Regents. So we had a very good, this really laid the groundwork, so to speak, that sparked the other webinars that followed, which was last October 5. And we here in this webinar, we discuss about the operational perspectives. How can the alumni, the academe, improve and enhance value chains? Value chains now is a major factor because of this pandemic, and also in really improving food systems. And this is a major issue now because food systems are now not only domestic but also global. And so these speakers, Mr. Villegas, Mr. Gualberto, Mr. Villegas presented his experiences not only in the Philippines but in other countries. He used to be the executive vice president of Land Bank, and Mr. Gualberto presented to us a very good concrete model of a hubs and spokes. I call it hubs and spokes model for coconut. And yes, Mr. Dr. Molina also explained to us his experiences as a top-notch researcher on bananas, and also joined the industry and the industry perspective from Royal Cargo by the representative of Mr. Royber. And after that, we had, again, a very good interaction here. Now, this is the perspective of industry. So the presenter, of course, was no less than an alumnus of UPLB, which is the local executive, chief executive of Santa Rosa, who brought with her the industry players in that municipality. Of course, the first vice president of Toyota Motor Philippines, and our alumnus, Mr. Cesar Mamon, who is the owner of, I'm sure everybody knows, the Enchanted Kingdom. So we had also a very good discussion here on how the entertainment industry and the motor industry, automotive industry, including local governance, can help facilitate linkages between academe and alumni. Today, again, I think I would like to say that we have elevated the discussion of the webinars, because this is really the real scope. When you speak about, when you hear about presidents presenting their experiences in linking with the industry, and so we have had very good presenters, and I think this will really resonate. And hopefully, if Chancellor Camacho is here, we can even have a national summit inviting major universities to present their experiences on linking with industry. That would really be a very relevant event. So I picked up, I was, gusto ko sana mauna yung kay Vice President Amante, pero nahuli ako. So na-capture ko na lang yung kay President Cultura. So if you take a look at this, model, so 4 elements: the academe, the industry. I like his, community. So yung alumni, of course, we are all part of a community, so collective. And of course, yes, government. So these are the major actors in really facilitating the linkages. And he showed us the experiences of USTP, no? Ang dami na nila talaga. Malayo na talaga sila. Kaya sabi ko nga tumutulo ang laway kung nakikinig ako sa kanya. And yes, the beautiful president of MMSU also showed us a very specific linkage with industry, with Toyota. But of course, she showed us the others, and I will show some later on. And these are really concrete experiences. And in fact, I really have urged the Alumni Association, Captain Manny, that we can share these experiences with other universities. This can be a good initiative with other alumni associations, so that we can have a rich repository of models and experiences in academic industry linkages. So next week, this is the last 2 parts of this series. We are also going to discuss what UPLB can offer. And definitely, since many of us in this forum are graduates, definitely we would put agriculture and food technology as the first. And of course, engineering and agro-industrial technology. But take note, VSU and USTP, they're very much into this already, because this is the kind of technology that we need for industrialization. And of course, we are also strong in governance and policy science. We have a College of Public Affairs. So we will hear their presentations in the next 2 sets of webinars. including, of course, our top-notch human resources. I think I saw a news item that our chemical engineering graduates are the top-notchers of the recent board exams. And yes, I think our president of the College of Agriculture Alumni Association can further expound. We also have a science and technology park here in UPLB. And the Alumni Association wants to really accelerate its development to take part in this alumni industry, Alumni-Industry linkages. I think we also saw in their presentations, this is now a global phenomenon that we really have to catch up. Nakita ko si Vice President Amante o si President Cultura. Nasa number 3, they're already attempting Industry 0.3, but I mean Industry 3.0. But right now in the other countries, they are now on Industry 4.0, and this is a product of the internet. And yes, we see now many products and technologies, artificial intelligence, robotics, Internet of Things, biotechnology, nanotechnology. By the way, meron pa rin nano-fertilizer. May dina-develop ang College of Agriculture, nano-fertilizer. Autonomous vehicles. I'm excited about that because there will come a day when our vehicles will talk to each other. Ang problema lang dyan, baka kung galit sa'yo yung sasakyan at kasero ka, baka sabi niya, pare, banggain natin itong, banggain mo na ako, etc. No, but joke. But we will see that day when vehicles will be talking to each other. And 3D printing. Printing now is one-dimensional, two-dimensional, but there are now three-dimensional printing technologies. And of course, quantum computing. So this is the state where we challenge the state universities. You are the best agencies and entities to really bring this country into the level of Industry 4.0 in partnership with industry. And yes, Agriculture 4.0, dyan na tayo lahat, for na lahat. This is not only a drawing, this is an illustration of our scientists in the CGIR. It's now, I think there are now many of this in Europe and in the United States, where you see here a farm. It's not a big farm. There's only one guy there in his house who is doing all the operations, but with machines, So yung kanyang mga drones, these are his surveyors. They survey the whole farm and provide him with data that goes into his computer. And take note, he has a fleet of agribots that does all the weeding, all the fertilizing, all the harvesting. So usually done by labor before. And of course, his cows, nagte-text na sa kanya yung mga baka niya. Sinasabi yung baka niya, sir, pwede niyo akong gatasan, sir, may sakit, etc., etc., manganganak na ako. And all those data are going into his computer. And of course, precision agriculture through a laser-controlled tractor to prepare his land. And all this data, big data, are in his computer. So this is the state of agriculture. Pangarap pa lang ito sa atin, but we would like, again, we challenge the universities. You are the best agents, because if you look at the pronouncements of the Department of Agriculture, digital agriculture, sinasabi nila, digital agriculture. And so with the expertise that we have in the universities, so Madam Shirley, I think you have a new institute for ICT in Batak, in MMSU. This is a very good challenge, bringing this country towards Industry 4.0 and applied to Agriculture 4.0. And yes, this is now a new development in the Philippines, the Mandanas Doctrine. And we are very proud that the champion of this is the governor of Batangas, where Vice President Amante is based. And this is now a partnership, we call it a multi-sectoral and a pluralistic extension system that is now led by local government units, because that is the mandate, of course, firstly, by the local government code, pero they devolve the function, hindi dinevolve ang pondo. But last June, through Executive Order 138, the President of the Philippines signed an executive order fully devolving the functions, including the funds, to local government units. And when you speak about extension system, of course, as part of the tripartite functions of SUCs. So the SUCs will be a major partner of the provincial local government units in delivering, cutting-edge extension services. And right now, the Department of Agriculture is now rolling this in 15 provinces, where Ilocos Norte and Batangas are there. And the target is all provinces as we move on. And as I've said, SUC is a major partner because the SUC is a major technology provider and a human resource developer for the manpower that will man this system. And of course, there are other agencies here. So now what we are trying to reform, this is part of the what we call 1DA reform agenda of the Department of Agriculture, where we are trying to really coordinate and synchronize, synthesize all extension programs at the provincial level that is now led by the provinces and assisted by these agencies in partners with the state universities and colleges. I think that was shown by President Agrupis a while ago, the system of MMSU with the Ilocos Norte Agriculture and Fisheries Extension System. I think those teaching mathematics and meteorology will know about this chaos theory by Edward Norton Lawrence, and commonly called the butterfly effect. And I think this theory, I'm not a mathematician, I'm not a meteorologist, but I read that something you do is small, can be, can go bigger later on, and translated into a more popular phrase that a flutter of a butterfly, a small flutter of the butterfly, can ultimately cause a typhoon halfway around the world. So, giving, we are in the academy, inspired by this chaos theory and butterfly effect, I think we can also construct an Academe-Alumni-Industry linkage butterfly, where the head, the body, and the tail, these are the things that we want to link and we want to connect. And the academe, the alumni, and the industry. So our goal here is to make this flutter so that it will spread all over the country. And that's where we will feel the impact of this AAI linkages. So what else do we need? We need the wings. And I think it was President Cultura who mentioned Alumni Industry Council. There is also a plan of the UPLB to create this. And I think an executive order will be signed by the Chancellor on November 6 during the summit, creating this Alumni Industry Council. I didn't realize that USTP and I think even perhaps BSU already has this. So that's one part of the way. But we also need strategic management. We are very, very happy that we have a proactive chancellor, a strategic manager who is trying to, he calls it future-proof UPLB. Nung una kong narinig yun, parang oxymoron yata sabi ko. But I realized that yes, indeed, because of these challenges, we really need to prepare the university to become resilient, especially in a chaotic future. And you need a strategic manager to do that, led by the president and the chancellor, but of course, together with his or her team. And what are the other parts? Is I think we need, yun yung ating discussions na kanina. The universities, this is still a challenge. I was part of the university myself. Ang laki kasi, kunyari, yung UP budget, $1 billion. Pero pagdating doon sa Department Institute, 20,000. Hindi pa kasyang pambili ng papel. That was before, and I hope that it has improved. But I think it may still be the same stage, states right now. So what do we need? We need to advocate for external investments for donors to help us, and that's where the alumni will be a very big help. And yes, I think this was very much mentioned by President Agrupis. We need an enabling policy. I think my recommendation is somebody in the PASOK will draft a bill on strengthening academe-industry linkages, and give it to a champion in the lower house and give it to a champion in the upper house in the next Congress, so that we will really have a national, durable, sustainable, strong, enabling policy to really pursue academe-industry linkages. So, kompleto na, pero hindi pa rin tatakbo ito, hindi pa rin tatakbo. Hindi siya, we have to, this butterfly needs the wing, and to connect the wings, and the support system. Of course, cutting-edge technology and skilled human resource, they always go together. And yes, that was the one I was referring at. The wind beneath the wings is the linkages, that will put all these elements together to make this butterfly flutter and really spread all over the land, and create impact, so that we will really have those development challenges, modernization, industrialization, economic recovery, food security will really be attained through this butterfly. So I think this is it. Thank you very much. Let's make this alumni industry, Academe-Alumni-Industry butterfly flutter. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rex Navarro, for that synthesis. Okay, so let's make our butterfly flutter and fly higher. Okay, so moving forward, so let me award our to show our gratefulness to our speakers for this morning. So let me award our certificate of appreciation to our panelists. So let me just read the citation. So University of the Philippines Los Baños awards this certificate of appreciation to Dr. Tirso A. Ronquillo, as represented by Vice President Albertson Amante, for sharing his valuable knowledge as lead panelist during the Academe-Alumni-Industry Linkages, the SUC Experience webinar held on 19 October 2021, 9 to 11:30 a.m. via Zoom. Signed by Dr. Rex L. Navarro, Webinar Series Chair of the UPLB-Alumni-Industry Summit, and Dr. Arlene Lorena M. Amino, the Director of the UPLB Office of the Alumni Relations, and the co-overall Chair of the UPLB-Alumni-Industry Summit. Thank you very much, Dr. Ronquillo and Dr. Amante. Our next certificate is awarded to Dr. Ambrosio B. Cultura II, and our last but not the least certificate is awarded to Dr. Shirley C. Agrupis. So again, thank you very much to our distinguished panelists for sharing your time, okay, so and experiences and insights during your presentation. So I know your schedule is very busy. So thank you very much for accommodating our invitation. So now to formally close our webinar for this morning, so let me call on the chair of the UPLB-Alumni-Industry Summit, Dr. Cristino Collado.
I am closing this morning's webinar with a very deep sense of fulfillment. Natutuwa po kami, nagagala kami, at napili namin ang mga tamang speakers para po sa umagang ito. VP Amante, on behalf of Dr. Ronquillo, President Cultura, President Agrupis, ang gagaling po ninyo. You really impressed us. I have to admit, or we in UPLB have to admit, that we feel humbled while listening to your presentations. Ang ultimate goal po ng ating Alumni Summit on November 6 is to unify and harness the participation of the alumni and industry. We feel really humbled na nag-uumpisa pa lang kami, kayo po pala ay malayo na. Marami po kaming natutuhan sa inyo, and I think they provided us the proper direction on how to pursue what we call here in UPLB the UPLB-AIC, or Alumni Industry Council. After listening to everything this morning, we feel that we have to improve our manner of communication. We have to communicate to the alumni. We have to communicate to the industry. We have to communicate to the outside world what UPLB needs and what UPLB can offer. Finally, I would like to borrow what Helen Keller said. Alone, UPLB can do so little. Together with the PASOK community, UPLB can do so much. Napakalaki po ng magagawa ng ating pagtutulungan. Ito po ang inaasahan kong ma-accomplish natin by way of the Alumni Summit in November. Bilang pangwakas, gusto kong batiin at pasalamatan si Dr. Arlene Gutierrez for her adept moderating and coordinating this webinar. And muli, gusto kong pasalamatan si Dr. Agrupis, thank you ma'am. President Cultura, thank you sir. Vice President Amante and Dr. Ronquillo, to the BSU community, maraming salamat po. Kami po dito sa UPLB ay umaasa na ito lamang ang simula ng ating pagkakaisa, sapagkat naniniwala po kami dito na kung gusto nating marating ang ating mga minibidhi, unity and collaboration is the key. So maraming salamat po sa lahat ng mga nakilahok. Thank you very much. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat.
Maraming salamat po, Dr. Collado, for your closing remarks. So again, I would like to thank our panelists for this morning and also our participants for joining us in today's webinar. So to secure your e-certificate and also to give us feedback on what transpired during the webinar, we would like to request you to answer our evaluation form in the link shown on the screen. We will also send the link via chat box. So our secretariat will send the link via chat box so you can easily access the evaluation form. So we will only receive your answers till 12 midnight today. So we also hope to see you on our next webinars. The second to the last one will happen on October 26, 2021. So same time, 9 a.m. Tuesday. So the topic is on Academe-Alumni-Industry Linkages, what UPLB can offer, part 1. And then the last, before the Alumni Industry Summit, will happen on November 5, 2021 from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. So the same topic, but this is part 2. Okay, so thank you very much again for attending this webinar. Just to request our panelists to stay on and also to watch this video for our participants for finally closing our webinar today. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a nice day.